Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Show. Tonight, we are talking about Trump and his announcement basically banning all gender-affirming care from day one if he gets into office.
Yeah, so some very interesting developments. We've actually got two clips from Donald Trump to play. One from, I think it was last week, and one from last night from his rally in South Carolina. So two different announcements, but reaffirming the same statement. So from what we gather, it looks like if Donald Trump wins, we've got to stress that if he wins, then he will be, making some big changes to this gender affirming care bollocks, which we're seeing all over the place. So it's good to see and good to hear, but obviously we have to bear in mind that, these changes won't happen if he doesn't come into power. And number two, let's hope he sticks by his word with this.
Yeah. I do think he would, because I can't see him just buying into it.
Yeah.
So I mean, whether you're a Donald Trump fan or not, you should be a fan of not mutilating and sterilizing children, in my opinion. So
absolutely.
To me, that's massive.
For sure. Absolutely. So we'll get into that next, guys. Before we do, though, as usual, if you're brand new to our channel, like, share, subscribe, share it out, hit the notification bell. We go live every night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
For sure. And we did find out that you could actually turn on live notifications on X too. So make sure you guys click live notifications so then you guys know watching on X when we go live.
Absolutely.
And if you do want to support the show, you could become a YouTube or Patreon member. You can also donate on buymeacoffee.com. The links are in the description and, of course, the bio of a homepage on X and on YouTube. We do want to thank our YouTube and Patreon members for supporting the show. It does mean a lot to us and does help keep us going. Like we said, we go live every day at 8 p.m.
Absolutely. So let's share our screen then, guys, and we'll play these announcements for you. So they're only about a minute long each, I think. So we'll play these and then we'll react to them. So the first one is from Donald Trump from about a week ago now. Well, we posted it on the 5th of February, but I think it was the night before that, so on the 4th of February. And this was courtesy of Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's social media platform, of course. So let's play it.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. The left-wing gender insanity being pushed.
So what's your first reaction again from, we've seen that a couple of times, of course. What's your reaction to it?
I love it. I really do. It's like straight to the point. It's like basically saying this is like madness. Like, let's restore normalcy to our lives. Where's the common sense? Where's the science? Like, no more on like doing this to children.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's always crazy when we talk about this because we're celebrating common sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about bringing back common sense to our lives and to protect children's lives, which should just be a given. But of course, in today's society, it's the opposite way around. We're violating children, experimenting on children, and mutilating children. Based on something which just isn't true. It's just not true, guys, as you all know. So it's good to hear from Donald Trump. Now, it remains to be seen if this happens, of course, because at the moment it's just words. We want to see action put into place. And, it remains to be seen because he needs to come in to the presidency, which, of course, isn't confirmed yet. But more than likely, if you pay attention to this race, it looks like he is going to win.
For sure.
So hopefully he sticks to his word on this.
Yeah.
So let's play the next one then. So this was from last night in South Carolina. So we'll go on the next tab. And he basically doubles down on the message which we played you first time. And he expands on it too and talks about some other practices which are going on in schools and things which are being taught to kids which we don't agree with at all. So it's good how he's doubled down and also expanded on the first point he made in the first clip. So let's play this.
100%.
New executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Okay. And I can't even believe I have to say it, but I do have to say it because I guess I'm a politician. I guess I don't feel like a politician. I will keep men out of women's sports. 100%.
Hallelujah.
And I will fully uphold the Second Amendment, our very under siege. We will protect innocent life and will restore free speech into our country. We don't have free speech. We don't have a fair press, and we don't have free speech.
I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I love it. Especially like, even the vaccine and mandate. The vaccine and mask mandate thing, because like especially for kids, like it doesn't do anything. Like kids touch their face all day long. So like, especially the younger you are, like the more you're taking it on and off, like there's no, like it's worse than better, especially for young children. But I mean, even for adults, like studies have come out saying that they weren't really effective. I think if you are like genuinely very sick for whatever reason, you're going out in public and you're coughing everywhere, I guess a mask would be a little bit better. But when it's just to like prevent you from getting it, but you're out and you're like healthy and you're not like sick, like you just look like a moron. Especially like the people who drive in their cars alone. Like those are the ones that get me. I don't see them often anymore, but once in a while I'll see one person driving along with a mask and they're alone in the car, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Because it's mental. Like it's like, come on, you're alone. Like
those people are being corrupted.
Like for sure.
Those people cannot be saved. Basically.
Like I just laugh.
Yeah. It is cringe. It is cringe because you shouldn't be, it's basically a metaphor for living in fear for me when someone has a mask on now.
Yeah, like a muzzle.
Yeah, it's like a muzzle. That's exactly it. It's like a little statement that, I've been corrupted by this woke agenda.
Yeah.
That's like, it's like a symbol of the woke. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and like if you are genuinely sick and you like are doing it to be like kind, not to like get other people sick, well, stay home. I mean, if you need groceries, order them on Uber. Like I'm not promoting Uber, but it's just like, why are you even out in public if you are like coughing and like have a fever and all that? Like just stay home, So like there's just it's not necessary.
Absolutely.
And for it to be like mandatory, it's just like, we ordered some t-shirts on Rebel News's website and it says I will not comply. So stay tuned for those guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to receiving that.
Me too.
I think it comes this week.
Yeah, and that's what just reminded me. It's like I will not comply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's have a look and see what he said. So let's enlarge his screen because I did in this clip we did put a quote there. So on day 1, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. Again, just common sense, because we didn't learn about this shit in school.
No.
We just didn't learn about it because you're not supposed to know this stuff as a kid.
Because kids aren't racist. Like, they don't care. Like, they don't... Like, they're not like, I'm not going to play with you because you're, I don't know, Chinese or you're black or you're Greek or whatever.
Well, now it's literally,
it's like,
if if you're a white kid, you're the bad guy now.
Or white. Yeah. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, kids aren't like that. And those who maybe think that, it's like, well, you clearly aren't around kids. Like, they don't care. Like, they don't see it. And they might notice a difference, but like, they don't think anything negative of that. It's like society that puts it on them as they get older. And you're like taught to be like noticing differences between people. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, we're all human. Like, we just live on other like different parts of the world, which makes us different. But at the end of the day, like, we're all made up of the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And we shouldn't be pushing these divisive topics onto kids at all. So it's good to hear that he does want to bring back, you know, the way I see it is just normal life. You know, it's not even, you know, this is the thing about his like announcement here. It's not even a controversial thing to do. It's literally just what he should be doing. Yeah. You know, but of course you'll get some pushback for doing it, but who gives a shit? Like, we've said this on the show so many times, you know, over the last few months while we've been talking about this. Someone needs to come in, put their foot down and just say, this is it. And I don't give a fuck about the backlash. And it's good to see that Donald Trump, and it's not a surprise that Donald Trump would do this because this is just the person he is, to come in, put his foot down, say, this is wrong. This is going to be stopped. And I don't care.
Well, yeah.
And it's good to see.
That's why it's like, if you like Trump or not, you should be like all for this, because anyone who wants to like push puberty blockers and surgeries onto children, or like inappropriate racial, like just insanity onto children, like all of it, like anyone who wants to push that onto children, like I think you need to get checked. Like, children are children. Just
hard drives need to be checked. That's for sure.
Yeah, that too. It's just like, stop sexualizing children, stop pushing them into certain directions. Just let them be who they are. Kids will play with anything. They will do anything. They'll play with anybody. Like, just let them be children. Like, this is like the time of their life where they don't have like those responsibilities and those like things that weigh in on adults. Like, those are like glory days, you know, when you look back on it. It's like, yeah, you had no bills, no responsibilities. You were just having fun as a kid, playing sports, playing with dolls, playing with trucks. Who cares? Like, you were just enjoying your time as a child. Like, stop trying to take that away from them, you know? And it's just like, Trump just says it exactly how it is, and he's going to ban it day one. And I mean, everybody should be like applauding that, you know?
Yeah, but they won't be. I can guarantee it.
No, but at the same time, like, I don't hold those views very high standards, because to me, like, we were like dying for like Pierre Poilievre to finally say something about it in Canada, and he finally has, which is great. Because like all of the West need to do that. Like, we need leaders who want to push back on this stuff, and not because it's, you know, not being inclusive. It's bringing back normalcy, like common sense and science and facts, and like keeping men out of women's sports and like out of like private like change rooms and washrooms, away from children, prisons. Like, this is all things that used to be like standard and common sense, and all of a sudden, you know, over time, it's just been like eroding female rights and spaces and onto children, and like, you know, having like meltdowns over not being able to like basically sterilize and mutilate children. It's like, where have we gone in the world? Like, we need to take the West back and like bring back our standards. And, you know, we need like these leaders who are going to come in and just shut it all down and be like, yeah, I don't really care how you feel about this. Like, we're not having this anymore.
Yeah. And I hope it happens. But like I was saying, it's all talk at the minute. And I hate talk. I want to see action, you know? And
yeah, well, these people aren't in power yet. So.
And I hope, you know, this is what I'm saying, you know, because at the end of the day, you've got to remember that he's a politician, you know, whether he says it, you know, that he is or not, he is a politician now. He is in the political world. He has been the president before. So he is a politician. He might not be a traditional one. He might not have been brought up in the political world, but at the end of the day, he is a politician. So we all have to bear this in mind, that at the end of the day, it is just words. And we need to see some tough stances taken with this. So let's hope. I do think he will, but until it's officially confirmed, then there's no point of having a party at the moment. But it does look like that things are beginning to change with this gender conversation, which is good to see, because anything what's built on lies won't last. And this whole gender movement stuff, about kids being born in the wrong body and women can have dicks and all this stuff, it's all rubbish.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it is. And because it's rubbish, it won't last.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next tab, because this kind of feeds into what I wanted to mention next. So this came out, I believe, yesterday, maybe the day before.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday. So let's make this bigger. I'm not going to read the article because it is long, but we'll read the headlines. So after reviewing more than 60 studies, so this is from the American College of Pediatrics, has concluded that there is no long-term evidence that mental health concerns are decreased or alleviated after gender-affirming therapy. So, in other words, water is wet. Yeah? Because we all know, but this we've all known this anyway, but it's good to know that the American College of Pediatrics, which is one of the leaders in this field when it comes to scientific research and study, are supporting this common sense approach. So it's good to see. So let's scroll down a little bit, and there is a little highlight from the article here. So this is a little snippet, but we'll link all this in for you guys if you want to check out the full thing. It is a bit long. So mental health in adolescents with incongruence of gender identity and biological sex. So I'll just read the highlighted part. So there are no long-term studies demonstrating benefits nor studies evaluating risks associated with the medical and surgical interventions provided to these adolescents. There is no long-term evidence that mental health concerns are decreased or alleviated after gender-affirming therapy.
Yeah.
Because of the risks of social, medical, and surgical interventions, many European countries are now cautioning against these interventions while encouraging mental health therapy. Well, hallelujah. We already knew all this.
Yeah, what a surprise. We say it all the time on the show.
We already knew all this, of course. We've talked about this till we're blue in the face, but it's good to see that organizations like this are finally telling us this in a public way. The other day, I think it was last week, we had the New York Times did a massive article about detransitioners and the dangers of gender affirming care. That's a very left-leaning paper, as we all know. So you can see a change is coming for sure. And it's a change back to common sense to me, which is good to see. But the sad part is all the people who have been manipulated and affected by this and have actually went through these surgeries and therapy and puberty blockers and experimentation, what's going to happen to them?
They'll have to live with the consequences of their decisions that unfortunately most of the time are not fully informed, and their mental health was never taken care of fully. They were just pushed into this basically onto it's like a medical belt, just
conveyor belt,
medical belt, a conveyor belt into the medical industry. I don't think, I think if people really saw the brutal, honest truth of what it would be like, what it looks like to have the surgeries done, what the complications are, what a day in the life would be like for them once those surgeries are done, and, really thought of, the possibility of never being able to bear children or breastfeed, for women, of course, because men can't. I think this is also why these are decisions that adults should make. Of course, ask a kid if they want to have a baby. My 5-year-old switches on and off between if she wants to have a baby one day or not. Like, I don't take anything seriously because she's always like, ew, I don't want to have a boyfriend. I don't want to have a baby. And then like yesterday, she's talking about how when she's a mommy, and I'm like, so you do. I'm like, okay, like you can't like take what they say seriously. They're just like thinking all over the place.
Look,
like
these kids,
like they're
know,
kids.
Well, yeah, I
they're
mean,
kids.
At Christmas time, we had the elf on a shelf, and they genuinely believe that a little toy elf is gonna look at them when they're being naughty or something, and it's gonna go and tell Santa.
I know.
That's the kind of level of mentality you're dealing with when these, criminal doctors, in my opinion, are manipulating kids into thinking that they're born in the wrong body and manipulating parents.
100%.
I mean, it's absolutely nuts that this is even allowed to be a thing for the past few years. But like we were saying before, anything what's built on lies will eventually crumble.
Yeah.
And this is another instance of that, because it's just fundamentally not true. And of course, we all know it's fundamentally not true, but it's been very good to see that more and more people, more and more big voices. I mean, we had Donald Trump, we played you 2 clips within the space of a week of each other, basically saying that if he becomes president the first day, he's going to reverse all this shit.
Yep.
So, if Donald Trump's saying that, you can bet that, there'll be a lot of other countries following his suit, because whatever happens in America usually feeds into the rest of the West. So things are going to change. I mean, I do think that 2024 will be the year of change when it comes to this.
Yeah, I do too. Or at least, like, you have to hope so, because it's like, how much further can this crap be pushed down? People are starting to wake up, especially the more that they're like pushing it on to you in like public schools, or like in like making like new gender affirming centers, or in the government, or in mainstream media. The more that they're pushing it on to people, the more people are thinking, well, I actually don't like that, or I don't agree with that, or why are they doing this to kids? Like, why not when they're adults and things like that? Like that, like, people are slowly starting to wake up to this, because you can only push it down people's throats for so long before they start to say, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Like, I don't actually want this, and I don't want my kids to learn this when they haven't even hit puberty. They shouldn't be thinking about their sexual preference, and some of these like sex ed books, like teaching them very inappropriate things, like not just basic biology. Like, it goes like way further than that. And it's like, wait, why does my like 10, 11, 12-year-old like need to know those things yet? Like, am I asking for a teen pregnancy here? Like, it's just like a little bit extreme. And why should my child be making decisions that are going to affect them the rest of their lives when they're kids? Like, people are starting to realize that. Of course, you're going to have people resisting it as well, but like,
who cares?
We shouldn't be pandering to the mentally ill.
Who cares? This is the whole point of this conversation with me. Who cares if people resist it? It's not right.
Yeah.
Someone needs to come in. This is why I love what Trump's doing. Because like, he doesn't give a shit about the reaction. He doesn't care about the backlash.
Yeah.
And we've said this many times on this show. We've said it behind the scenes.
You'll play it again.
Someone needs to come in, put their foot down and say, this is wrong. I'm stopping it, and I don't care about the backlash.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that for me.
Let's play it one more time.
Sure.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple.
It is.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. The left-wing gender insanity.
Honestly, straight to the point, guys.
Common sense, guys. Common sense is coming back. I've got a feeling.
Yeah.
Got a feeling. And it means that we don't have to talk about it again, which I can't wait.
I know.
I can't wait to not talk about it on this show.
Who would have thought one of the most important topics that you need to talk about today is not to sterilize and mutilate and butcher children?
Yeah.
Ask somebody 5 years ago even, is this something that, people should be talking about on a daily basis? What? Why? Who's doing that? Mm-hmm. Well, just fast forward 5 years from now, and it's being pushed on you left, right, and center.
Yeah.
It's madness.
It is madness, but it looks like things are changing, which is good to see.
Hopefully, yeah.
And like I was just saying there, it means that we don't have to talk about it again on this show, because the only reason why we do is because it's news and it's actually happening. But if it stops, we won't talk about it. But we will keep talking about it until it does stop, for sure.
Yeah, we will definitely keep highlighting it and having these conversations, because it's important. We need to protect the youth of today. Children deserve a better future than what this agenda is being pushed onto them. That is creating a very, very grim life, basically. The future won't be bright for these kids who do undergo these surgeries and these puberty blockers. They will be tied to the medical industry in some form for the rest of their lives. So they will be limited. And that should scare people. That's not, let them choose who they want to be. That's limiting who they want to be. That's not giving them options. And if, after, let's say 25 and they really want to go ahead and do it, fine. But maybe after a year or two of therapy first, just understand why you want to do that. Because no one is just born in the wrong body. That doesn't happen. This isn't an episode of X-Files here. It's
may as well be.
I know. And that it's not, unfortunately, guys. Sorry. We live in the real world where this is really going on. And so of course we're going to keep calling it out.
For sure. Well, let's leave it there. But before we do, we'll give you a bit of a shorter show tonight, because I know that the Super Bowl's on.
The Super Bowl's on.
That's why no one's talking in the chat tonight, which is fair enough. You all looking at Taylor Swift.
Well, now Usher is trending here, I can see. So maybe he's doing his little halftime show.
Anyway, let's go on our page. We'll tell you what we've got coming up. We've got
a huge guest coming up, guys.
Got a big show coming up on Tuesday, so we'll remind you all of that before we leave. So we've got Billboard Chris coming on the show on Tuesday.
Let's make this bigger.
Very much looking forward to speaking to Chris on Tuesday.
Freaking Billboard Chris, guys.
Should be a good conversation. He's been hammering away this message for years now, that children cannot consent to puberty blockers, something which is very basic and which we all know, but Chris has been tirelessly working to basically raise awareness for this issue, making parents aware, campaigning to get things stopped, raising more awareness. So he's been doing a great job, and we're really looking forward to speaking to Billboard Chris, or Chris. I'm not going to call him Billboard
What's
Chris
up,
on the
Billboard
show.
Chris?
Yeah.
It's probably what his wife calls him too.
Yeah. Billboard.
His daughters, they're like, Billboard Daddy.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Who knows?
That'd be funny, actually.
Who knows?
We should get a shirt that says that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Tzipora.
Good to see you, Tzipora.
Can't wait for Billboard Chris. Yeah, I mean,
really looking forward to speaking
to him.
That
is going to be such a great show. Really, really looking forward to speaking to him. Yeah, just to talk to him about what he's doing. What a great advocate for children, and I like that he focuses on children, because I think it's a lot harder to argue why you should be doing that to children. When he's talking to people on the streets, it's but why children?
I don't think you can
specifically.
I don't think you can argue.
Some people try, but it's definitely harder to argue why you should be doing that. But anyway. So he's coming on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So
we do have another guest confirmed for Thursday. We just haven't made the thumbnail yet, but we do have it confirmed.
We do, yeah. Super Bowl, Schmooper Bowl. keep our kids safe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But brilliant, guys. We'll
100%.
leave it there. A bit of a shorter show for you tonight, but we will be back tomorrow.
Short and sweet, right to the point.
Short and sweet, but we will be back tomorrow as usual. Apologies for last night. We did have 2 sick kids here, so we couldn't do the stream. But, you know, we will be back tomorrow as usual. And then Tuesday, like we said, Billboard Chris is on the show. We do have another guest confirmed for Thursday.
Yeah.
I just haven't made the thumbnail yet, but
we got to post the show for that one as well.
I'll make that tomorrow and get it
for
posted.
sure. Yeah, we've got some really good guests lined up, guys. So, you know, and also if you guys ever have any suggestions, like who you'd like to see on our show, feel free to send us a DM on Twitter or X. Like our DMs are open. You can leave a comment on YouTube or whatever. Like we're always up for suggestions and talking to new people. So yeah, let us know. But yeah, we've been trying to get more and more guests. As you guys can see, we've had some pretty amazing guests as of now, and more coming. So yeah, all good things.
Absolutely, guys. Before we go, as usual, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Thank you, Tzipora.
Thank you, Tzipora. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no fevers and stuff today, so I'm sure by tomorrow they'll be good as new.
Absolutely.
But yeah, sorry, cut you off.
I've already done it now. You may as well just do the other part.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry about that. If you do want to support the show, you can become a YouTube or Patreon member. Links are in the description and, of course, the bio of a homepage. We want to thank our YouTube and Patreon members for supporting the show. It does mean a lot to us as we do go live. Like we said, I was going to say 8 days a week, 7 days a week, and bringing you really great guests.
Absolutely. So we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, take care.